Hi, I'm Foss from Foss and Fern. I'm a plant stylist and a houseplant coach, and I'm here to help you with your plants. Let's talk about moving a plant into a new spot. Maybe this is a new plant you just bought. Maybe it's somewhere else in your home and it needs to move for some reason. Maybe you have an empty spot in your house that you want to put a plant in. There are a lot of things to consider. I think finding the right plant for the right spot, making sure that the plant is going to get what it needs from its environment, is one of the most important things you can do to set your plant up for success from day one. So, I have for you today a list of 5 things I always take into consideration when I'm putting a plant in a new spot. Number 1 is light. You need to know what kind of light your space gets. So what kind of light is your plant going to get in that space? So my favorite way to do this is I put my body where the plant is going to go. I literally climb in there, sit down, take a look. My head is where the plant is. What do I see? Here's what you're looking for. First of all, do you see a window? That's pretty important. There needs to be light. It doesn't need to be right next to the plant. It could be across the room, but you need to see a window somewhere. And the next question is, what do you see out of that window? Do you see sun? Are you making direct eye contact with the sun? Do you see sky but not sun? Or do you see something else like trees or the neighbor's house? This is the difference between indirect and direct light. If the plant is making direct eye contact with the sun, that's direct light. If the plant is making not direct eye contact with the sun, that's indirect. And of course, the sun is moving throughout the day. Sorry, the earth is moving throughout the day. The placement of the sun is moving throughout the day. So that's going to change. Maybe your plant is getting direct light for part of the day, but not the full day. You want to take a look, you want to do this test several times throughout the day and kind of put all of the pieces together to get a big picture. Generally speaking, is it direct or is it indirect? This is important information. So the second thing to consider is light. There's another aspect to light that we need to consider, and that is bright, medium, low. You know, when you get the care card for a new plant and it says bright, indirect light. That's the most common combination. Bright, indirect, or low to medium, indirect. We got to put all the puzzle pieces together. So how do you know if you have low, medium, or bright light? My favorite way to do this is, again, to put my body where the plant is. I sit down and I try to read a book. With no lamps on, no overhead lights, no other kind of light, just by sunlight. Can you read a book? And again, you want to do this several times throughout the day to get a picture of how the whole day works in terms of light for your plant. But basically, if you can easily read with just sunlight, that's bright. If it might hurt your eyes over time, but it's kind of okay, or maybe it goes in and out throughout the day, that's probably medium. And if it's difficult to read without any overhead lights, that is probably low. Okay, the third thing to take into consideration is humidity. So most houseplants, I should say, are okay with general house humidity levels. They're houseplants for a reason. They're fairly easygoing. They can come into a home and they won't miss the constant rain or mist of the jungle that they came from. Some plants do miss the mist of the jungle, and these are higher humidity loving plants. So where are the spots in your home that have higher humidity? Generally speaking, bathrooms, kitchens, any room that has running water in it is going to have a higher humidity level, and generally speaking, the rest of the house is going to be pretty medium. Your low humidity rooms are going to be rooms with an active fireplace or something next to a heat vent or air conditioner that's going to really dry out the air. So the fourth thing that I always take into consideration is temperature. So the things to take a look at are, again, active fireplaces, heat vents, air conditioning vents. Is it next to a door that opens pretty frequently? That's going to be a flush of cold air coming in if in the wintertime every time, or heat in the summer. We don't want the swings in temperature for that plants. Most plants want to just be they like it how they like it, and they just want it to be pretty mellow and low key. So temperature is something to take into account. The fifth thing that I always think about is scale and use of space. And this is where we get into styling a little bit. You want to think about how the space is used and how you want the space to be used. You don't want the plant to be in anybody's way. You don't want people to be bumping into it or having to reach around it to access a window that they always like to open, or to access the plugs that we need to access. It's in a hallway and you're walking by, every time you walk by, you're going to bump into it. You want to think about how the space is being used. In this scenario, this is the Dracaena I just moved in. This is in a corner. It's not a busy area where people are moving around. No one's going to bump into it. No one is actively moving into this corner. So I knew it could be a fairly large variety that goes in here. And I wanted a large variety to fill the space. So we've got a lot of, without it, there's a lot of dead space over there. Let's check it out. So this is what was happening before. Nothing. There was nothing going on over there. There's no furniture over there. The space feels really empty, and it needed something kind of big to fill the space. So I knew I wanted a large variety. I know that temperature and humidity in this room is pretty even keeled. It's not a high humidity level, so nothing like a fern or a caleithia would work. Those need daily misting or higher humidity rooms, which this is not. This is our living room. There's no sink in here. So we were going for something that can handle normal house temperatures, normal house humidities, something large scale that would thrive in medium indirect light. So I did my Dracaena. There you go. So what I like about this variety in the space is it's large enough to fill the little corner back there, but it's still, it's not overbearing up top. So far, I'm gonna keep my 2 pieces of art that are hanging back there, and I'm gonna keep the little plants that are kind of surrounding it. Because even though this is a large variety, it doesn't feel overwhelming. If this was something like a fiddle leaf fig or something with really big, or a rubber tree, something with really big graphic leaves, it might feel too busy back there. But with this variety, I feel like it looks pretty balanced and creates a nice flow in the room on this kind of statement wall we have back here. So that is what I thought about before I moved my plant. Okay, I hope this was helpful to you. That is where my new spot for this beautiful large plant, and it'll be here throughout the summer, enjoying this medium indirect light. And I think we're really gonna love it along this wall. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if this was helpful or if you have any other questions. Thanks.